Superman fans to your speeding bulletin for the week May 24th to May 30th, 2013. A week which saw an announcement about the world premiere of Man of Steel, a handful of new Man of Steel TV spots, and plans to celebrate Superman's 75th anniversary. Let's jump in and take a closer look. In movie news, Man of Steel will have its world premiere in New York on Monday night, June 10th, set to take place at the Alice Tully Hall at the Lincoln Center for the Performing Arts in New York City. The world premiere of Man of Steel will see the film's cast and crew in attendance, with red carpet interviews set to take place from 6 p.m. before the screening of the movie at 7 p.m. I've been lucky enough to receive an official invitation to attend the world premiere and will cover the event with Scotty V and Jeffrey Taylor. Look for all our coverage, including a spoiler-free review, soon after the June 10th world premiere. Warner Bros. Pictures released 5 more TV spots for Man of Steel this week. Here's a couple of them.
Why did you send me here? You will give the people of Earth an ideal to strive towards. They will stumble. They will fall. But you will help them. You will guide them. You will give them hope. That's what this symbol means. Hope.
With a PG-13, experience it in IMAX 3D. Starts June 14th.
What's the S stand for?
It's not an S.
How about super?
Excuse me.
When the world finds out what you can do, it's gonna change everything.
You okay?
What are you smiling about, Captain?
I just think he's kind of hot.
With a PG-13, experience it in IMAX 3D. Starts June 14th.
Sears and Warner Bros. Pictures have teamed up on a retail theatrical integration for Man of Steel, which features a Sears store and Sears brands woven into the film's storyline. Off-screen, Sears Shop Your Way Rewards members will get an exclusive first look at footage from the film, a limited edition Superman comic book from DC Entertainment, and the chance to participate in a variety of Man of Steel sweepstakes. For additional information, visit shopyourway.com/Man of Steel. Warner Bros. Pictures released another online feature for Man of Steel, this time in the form of a game in which you have to save Metropolis as Superman. Metropolis Mayhem at metropolismayhem.manofsteel.com is a 2D game which allows players to fly Superman through Metropolis using their keyboard to maneuver the Man of Steel around obstacles and destroy objects with heat vision. Carl's Jr. and Hardee's have released their TV commercial for the Super Bacon Cheeseburger, the newest premium burger offering, which is a tie-in with Man of Steel. Carl's Jr. and Hardee's will also be offering guests a series of 4 40-ounce collector's cups for purchase featuring the Superman emblem and characters from the film, including Superman, Jor-El and General Zod. Gillette's How Does He Shave Man of Steel promotion is underway. Gillette is now soliciting fan theories via howdoesshave.com, having rolled out 4 web videos from 5 superhero enthusiasts: Kevin Smith, Mythbusters Adam Savage and Jamie Heineman, the Science Guy comedian Bill Nye, and Mayim Bialik, real-life neuroscientist and Big Bang Theory actress. Schick have teamed up with Warner Bros. In a variety of countries to create Man of Steel movie prize giveaways. Superman fans in Indonesia, Korea, Malaysia, Philippines, Singapore, Israel, New Zealand and Thailand can enter the Schick consumer promotion to win hundreds of Man of Steel prizes. Visit schicktransform.com/Man of Steel to enter. The IMAX Theatre Darling Harbour in Sydney, Australia will begin selling tickets to their June 26th screening of Man of Steel from 12 noon on Tuesday, June 4th. IMAX are also giving fans a chance to win an awesome dinner at Hurricane's Grill in Darling Harbour to the value of $200 plus 4 VIP IMAX tickets to see Man of Steel 3D. Enter now at the IMAX Darling Harbour website. Fashion retail chain French Connection are currently running a Man of Steel themed contest in which UK fans can win some great prizes. The prizes available are 2 tickets to the Man of Steel London premiere on 12th of June and other goodies. Enter online, visit frenchconnection.com/Man of Steel. Henry Cavill will attend a special press event in Mexico to promote the upcoming release of Man of Steel. To celebrate the film's release on June 14th, Henry Cavill will travel to Mexico City on June 7th to meet with the Latin American press. Speaking of press events, back in August 2011, Superman homepage staff writer Jeffrey Taylor was invited to visit the set of Man of Steel on behalf of Movies.com. The roundtable interviews are now being posted online by all the different sites that were invited. Director Zack Snyder was in Canada this week, doing press interviews about Man of Steel. He spoke with Toronto's KISS 92.5, CP24 breakfast TV show, and had this to say to City News about the making of the movie.
It took a long time, actually, the evolution of the costume, even though it feels a lot like the normal Superman costume. It is incredibly detailed experience to go through the hundreds and hundreds of iterations to get to the one that you really feel like tells a story of the iconographic Superman, but also sort of like a new and kind of interesting take, that makes him kind of fresh.
John Williams, famous among Superman fans for his iconic musical theme for the Christopher Reeve Superman movies, spoke to ZapToIt.com on his feelings about Man of Steel. He said, "It's going to be hard for me not to let go of the music, but to let go of the idea of Superman being Chris." Last week, Warner Bros. Released a Kryptonian Glyph Creator app as a Man of Steel tie-in, which allows you to design your own Kryptonian house symbol. Having been through the Glyph Creator thoroughly, there are 20 houses of Krypton, not including the houses of El or Zod. Each ancestral house has its own symbol or glyph. I've collected all 20 Kryptonian house symbols into one Houses of Krypton graphic. Below each symbol I've placed the house name in both English and Kryptonian. You can download it now from the site. DC Collectibles has unveiled images of their previously unseen Man of Steel Superman vs. Zod statue. The limited edition 1:12 scale statue depicts Superman in battle with the tyrannical Zod. Available from August 1st, the Man of Steel Superman vs. Zod statue is now available to pre-order through the Superman homepage online store. Mad Magazine has revealed the Man of Steel cover to their Mad Presents Superman #1 special. The 64-page Mad Presents Superman #1 will be released on June 12th and will sell for $4.99. You'll want to check out this Man of Steel trailer recreated in amazing detail using Minecraft, the popular game in which you place blocks to build anything you can imagine. Watch the whole thing at the Machinima YouTube channel. The world is turned upside down as one of Earth's greatest superheroes, the Flash, wakes up devoid of his superpowers in the all-new Justice League The Flashpoint Paradox, the next entry in the popular ongoing series of DC Universe original animated movies. What you're watching at the moment is the movie trailer, which was released by Warner Bros. Animation this week for the film's release on July 30th. In comic book news, DC Comics released an image of the title treatment for the upcoming Superman Unchained comic book series. The first issue of this new comic series from best-selling creators Scott Snyder and Jim Lee will go on sale June 12th. Superman comic books we reviewed this week included Superman #20, which was reviewed by Adam DeChannel, who gave it a 2 out of 5, saying, "A disappointing end to what could have been the new volume of Superman's first big story." Ralph Silver reviewed Justice League #20, saying it had a strong focus on character development, and he gave it a 4 out of 5. Teen Titans #20 was reviewed by Keith Sumner, who gave it a 4 out of 5, saying, "So many unanswered questions." Sean Morrissey reviewed Adventures of Superman Chapter 4, giving it a 1 out of 5, saying, "This could be the sloppiest, most inconsequential Superman story I've read in quite some time." Sean also reviewed Superman Beyond #19, saying, "Things are getting a bit messy," and he gave it a 2 out of 5. Mark Pritchard reviewed Injustice Gods Among Us Chapter 19, saying, "My only beef is that we haven't really advanced anything," and he gave this a 4 out of 5. Smallville Season 11 Chapter 48 was also reviewed by Mark, who gave it a 3 out of 5 score, calling it middle of the road. While Tom L. looked back in time to 1968 to review Superman 211, and he rated the "You Too Can Be a Super Artist" a 3 out of 5. Superman comics available this week from May 29th include Adventures of Superman Chapter 5 digital comic has been available since May 27th. Injustice Gods Among Us Chapter 20 digital comic is available since May 28th. Adventures of Superman #1 print edition, which is also available in a variant cover. Injustice Gods Among Us #5 print edition. Smallville Season 11 Special #1. Smallville Season 11 Chapter 49 digital comic is available May 31st. And Superboy Volume 2 Extraction trade paperback. In other news, in celebration of the 75th anniversary of Superman, Warner Bros. Entertainment and DC Entertainment have revealed plans befitting one of the most popular and enduring superheroes of all time. The companies are kicking off a year of celebration, including a new commemorative Superman 75th anniversary logo, as well as an animated short tribute chronicling the rich 75-year history of the character, produced by Zack Snyder. A sneak peek of this short is planned for Comic-Con International San Diego in July, and the finished version will debut sometime in August. Little Orbit released the full video game trailer for Young Justice Legacy, which takes players on a wild ride in an action RPG that bridges the first and second seasons of the animated series. The video game will launch on a variety of console systems, including PlayStation 3, Xbox 360 and Nintendo Wii U on September 10th. Here's a collection of some newly released Superman and Supergirl products now available in our online store. Get yourself a Superman collectible figurine and pendant kit for just $8.96. And the DC Collectibles Bombshell Supergirl statue is now available for $124.95. These and other great offers are available from your one-stop Superman shop, the Superman homepage online store at supermanhomepage.com/shop. I'll be leaving Australia in a couple of days to head to the USA, firstly to attend the Superman celebration in Metropolis, Illinois, which takes place across June 6th to June 9th. Look forward to meeting up with some of you in person, and especially look forward to seeing those attending the Superman homepage meet and greet on Friday, June 7th at 10:30 AM inside Hardy's. It's going to be lots of fun. After the Superman celebration, I'll be headed to New York for the world premiere of Man of Steel, while also taking in some of the sights for a few days afterwards, before seeing the movie again on opening night. I'm going to try and get a speeding bulletin done for you next Friday while I'm at the Superman celebration, but it won't be your usual news bulletin, as I simply won't have the time or the resources to put together a full-blown speeding bulletin. But the upside of this is that we'll have heaps of news, interviews and reports from the Superman celebration when I get back. So for now, this is all the Superman news there was for the week May 24th to May 30th. I'm Steve Younis from supermanhomepage.com. See you in America.
Great Scott! Great Scott! Great Scott!
Hello everyone, and welcome to another girlish episode of Great Scott. I'm Scotty V. Good to see you. Thanks for watching. So, for those of you out there who managed to snag yourself some Walmart advance tickets, they're having the sneak preview premiere on, I guess, Thursday the 13th, and the movie officially opens on Friday the 14th. It came with a little code on the back of your ticket where you could go to a website and download a prequel comic. Actually, you just read it, I guess, on the site. It's not really a download. And it tells you some stuff, I guess, about the backstory of Man of Steel. Now, for those of you who haven't read the prequel, don't want to read the prequel, or don't want to know some of what it contains, feel free to tune out now. So, At Death's Door, just see Supergirl from the New 52 cover here, is kind of an apt description by my accounting of what might be going on with Kara, who makes a special appearance in the prequel comic to the Man of Steel movie. It looks as though there is some retooling going on in terms of not just the origin of Man of Steel, which we're going to see, kind of a new deal, not connected to the Donner films, not connected to any film that has come already, and kind of its new thing, which I've been advocating for years and years, that we needed to start over, we needed to see everything again. I talk to people a lot who say, why another origin story? Why? We've already seen this. Why Zod? We've already seen this. Why Lex? We've already seen Lex. We need new stuff. Just start a movie where Superman's having an adventure and we all know who he is and the world knows who he is and it's all great and it's all fine. While that all may be well and good and could work and could be something that people would accept, I think that 1978 is 2008. Let's do some quick math. 1978 to 88, that's 10. That's easily 10. And then 88 to 98, that'd be 20. Now this is where it gets tough, because now we get 2022. But I guess the same rule would apply. So 2008, then that'd be 30 years. And there's no way I can do single digits and stuff. So let's just say 30 plus years since we've seen a Man of Steel origin on the big screen. Now people say, Scotty, you know, what about Smallville? We watched 10 years of Superman's origin on television. We saw Tom Welling grow up to be the great hero that we've all, you know, wanted to see. And while that partially may be true, we did see an origin. We did find out that An infant came from Krypton and got superpowers, and that wasn't seen by a huge audience. It was seen by approximately 2 million viewers a week, and they would probably be the same 2 million viewers. Here and there, someone who watched before came in and saw one and then left. And so 2 million viewers is a very, very small portion of the amount of tickets they hope to sell for a big blockbuster movie, especially one about Superman, especially one that's supposed to bring the greatest comic book hero of all time back into the limelight and make him the man, make him the one that people are saying, did you see this? It's a new movie. It's going to rock generations to come. It's changing everything. It's going to make everybody change their plans for every movie they have coming out after this. That's what we want. That's what I want. That's what I've wanted for a long time. I enjoyed Superman Returns. I actually, as I've said before, think it was the closest we've gotten to a movie I want to see where it's a little more serious and the effects are great, and, you know, Christopher Reeve obviously is fantastic. The Donner film had its place. But we do need this revamp. We do need this reboot. And since the general movie-going audience hasn't seen a Superman origin on the big screen for 30-some years, it's time to see that. And yes, Zod again, okay. But again, you know, Superman 2 came out in 1980. That's 30, well, let's not do it again, but it's 30 years since we've seen Zod on the big screen. And most of the people who are looking for big screen superhero movies and might want to see a revamp of Superman aren't familiar with the Donner film. All the fans are, obviously, but they're also trying to reach out to the major film-going audience that doesn't include fanboys who are going to go see a Superman movie and try and tear it apart every thread by every thread. So, that being said, they appear to also be revamping Krypton, which is something else that I've been advocating for a long time. A crystal palace with 40 people in it that seems to be the entire population of a planet that we're supposed to be upset about being gone is not the kind of Krypton that I've ever envisioned. You know, my idea of Krypton and what it's been talked about in the books is a great civilization with scientific minds and highly advanced technology, not a snow waste ice planet made out of crystals where a couple of people cry and whine about not being allowed to send ships out into space. That being said, I do kind of like the idea of having a Krypton that doesn't have spaceships for whatever reason, because if they did, why wouldn't they escape? And so you get into the conundrum of trying to make them too advanced, or you have to come up with a reason why they no longer use space craft and ships, and they don't fly out to explore, and they wouldn't escape like that. The reason that normally is given is that there was some warring, there was some killing, they became dangerous, certain factions of them tried to conquer other planets or attacked people in space, and the ruling council and everybody, when the war eventually subsided and so many people were killed, they decided we need to concentrate on what's going on at home and forget about exploring space, and we need to dismantle our programs and dismantle our ships, and from now on, it's verboten for anyone to go into space. And verboten, if you look it up, is a genuine, authentic Kryptonian word. You won't find any other explanation for what I just said. So anyway, they're not allowed. And the reason they're not allowed is because they made some mistakes in the past, and they've decided that it's more important for them to get back to what made Krypton great, and that was figuring out things at home, inventing things at home, making the society fantastic. That being said, the prequel. In the prequel, we find out that 1,000 ships are being sent out. Kara and a team are one of those ships, meaning that at least 5 people are going to man every ship, and they're going to be sent out in all kinds of different directions exploring space. And it seems like at least one of them is going to Earth, because it is mentioned several times that it'll take 10 years to get there, but no one will age because they're going to be in suspended animation. Now, this sounds very familiar as the most recent take on who Supergirl is and where she comes from before the New 52, but also kind of including the New 52 to a certain extent, and that is she's older than Kal-El. She leaves in suspended animation to go and protect him, and ends up frozen for longer than she's supposed to be and found in Metropolis Bay or in the Arctic or somewhere else, or crashes later, whatever it is. But the general idea being that she is mostly fully grown, in her teens, going out on Kryptonian tests, trying to prove herself, trying to learn, a studier, a pilot, whatever it is, and she makes her way to Earth and then is frozen, and so Clark actually gets to live out 25 or 30 years of his life and therefore grow, while Kara stays in stasis. And when sometimes it's Batman, sometimes it's Superman, whoever it is finds her, she is the same age that she was when she left the planet Krypton. In the prequel, we see Zor-El, and we see Allura, her parents. We see her, have this kind of struggle with a bad guy. Someone dies. She takes her team. They go. When she awakens, her team has been killed. They're all skeletons. I'm not sure why, if it's only been 10 years. Well, I guess if he killed them right away and then just left them there to rot. But for some reason, he doesn't kill her. It turns out he thinks he loves her. They're meant to be together. They're going to repopulate the stars with Kryptonians. Because since she was in stasis, Krypton was destroyed or whatever. And she, of course, fights against him. And then the ship crashes. And it looks like that it is the ship in the trailer that we see buried under ice that Clark finds. He is called to it somehow. He is led there by some sort of a beacon, which the scientists in the prequel talk about. And they say that these ice shelves are over 300 years old or something along those lines. How could there be a signal, and who are they looking for? And we end on a picture of Clark. It's the first time he is seen in the comic, and he is on the famous boat that looked like a Discovery show that everyone was complaining about, some fishing show or whatever, and he is out on his way to this beacon, apparently. And then we're going to see where that goes in the film. Now, there are a few things that are obviously different about this, but what comes to mind is, if she was frozen after crashing for hundreds of years underneath the ice, there's a good chance that Kara, in this incarnation of the story, is dead. Died in the crash before the sun affected her, was buried underneath the snow, and that's going to be the end of her. Reason being, a lot of people have a problem with there being a Kara, with there being a Supergirl, with there even being a Zod or other Kryptonian villains, because that then indicates that there are other Kryptonians that survived and not just Superman, and therefore he's not the last son of Krypton, and it's not necessarily, it takes away from who Superman is, the uniqueness of him, the special sacrifice that Jor-El made, and all these things, especially if lots of other people somehow managed to find their way off of Krypton, but somehow Jor-El, who is supposed to be one of the most intelligent Kryptonians out there, couldn't figure out a way to save more than just his baby. My reasoning for that is that whatever the rules are that were in place, they're not allowed to have spaceships. They're not allowed to leave the planet. It's been decreed. It's illegal, whatever it is. And from what we're hearing, people are genetically engineered on Krypton from birth, and it's illegal to have a baby that wasn't genetically engineered. So it's a very strict society as far as their technology has gone. Whatever has happened, their technology led them down the wrong path, and they got very violent, and lots of people died. And then they decided to curtail that and start again and try to live in peace, but also be a very intelligent scientific society where they could breed people to be what they needed them to be, and hopefully keep everyone under control. Whatever it is, I'm not exactly sure how the story is going to go, but after 300 years, perhaps they don't have spacecraft. Perhaps all of that is done, and perhaps that is the reason why only Jor-El in an experimental spacecraft, once he learned that the tectonic plates of Krypton were shifting, once he began to believe that the planet was going to be destroyed, he started working on a little space project of his own. And all of this is familiar. It's nothing I'm making up. I'm not going to sit out here and say, well, I thought it would be a good idea to have Lois be the one who came up with the name Superman. For those of you who don't recognize that, Zack Snyder recently had an interview on some kind of a radio show where the host couldn't even be heard, but he tried to take credit for coming up with the idea that Lois might have the idea to call this man Superman. It's been in canon for over 20 years or more, and Zack Snyder is saying, doesn't that sound neat that I came up with Lois saying that? Anyway, everything that I'm presenting here is not new ideas. You've all heard this before. The idea that only Jor-El had the time because only Jor-El knew and no one would listen, so he was working on it, hoping to convince them, but knowing deep down that he probably never would. And so he sends his son off to go to Earth. Now, it sounds like, and it looks like, just like in Smallville, there has been Kryptonian presence on Earth in some way, or they've studied it enough from afar that Jor-El knows he's sending him there, knows what will happen to him, and it has ways of communicating with him even after he's gone there. One of the problems I always had with the Donner film and with Smallville is that all of these holograms, or all of these times when he's talking to his parents, they seem like they're there. They seem like they're sentient. They seem like they understand everything he's saying and everything he's going through. If it was a hologram, you could get information from it. You could ask it questions about things it knew about on Krypton, but it wouldn't really be able to understand your situation and then adapt and re-answer. Understanding that there are technological advances on other planets that we may not have here or may not be able to understand. Anyway, this has gone on long enough. My final analysis is that because of Nolan's involvement, and because he's not crazy about comic book characters to begin with, but under protest, he'll do a comic book film, but make it into some kind of a statement of how great he is as a filmmaker, behind the scenes said that we're going to make it very difficult for anyone to say the name Superman, and I don't want any Supergirls or Super Dogs or anybody else. What about Zod? Well, Zod you can have because we need to have a lot of action. And it seems as though, instead of being his close cousin that's alive at the same time he is, she's going to be a 300-year-old ancestor who may or may not burn up or die as her ship enters Earth's atmosphere before she gets her powers. However, before you start to get worried, there are a set of footprints walking from outside the ship after it crashes, before it gets buried under 300 years of snow. Kara Namek? I think that's who it was. That was the villain in the prequel comic. Meaning that it looks as though someone survived the crash, but we got a 300-year-old Kryptonian running around if that is the case. I'm looking forward to it. Seeing Kara and seeing that she was in the ship that's going to become what we are all calling the Fortress of Solitude made me excited, but then I had to reevaluate, and she was there 300 years before because she lived through caveman days and people were drawing on the walls to communicate with each other, and the scientists said that the area where she crashed was over 300 years old, so who could be there and who could she be trying to contact, this signal be trying to contact. So it looks as though they're making some nods to there being a Kara and a Zor-El and an Allura, but they are not directly related, rather ancestors. The film's going to be great. I don't really anticipate it not being great. Anything can happen. But remember, everybody, always look up in the sky.